Hi there, my name is Ron Rogers, and the question came up in my mind, am I really an electrical engineer, or is it all an illusion? And I'll tell you why I think it might be an illusion, and why I started to doubt that, am I really an electrical engineer? And I know I've been neglecting my electrical engineering fans here with all the flying stories and stuff like that, but that's what I did with most of my career. But I spent time as an electrical engineer, and I started out in school as one. So how am I going to prove it? Well, let's look at the bookshelf here. All right, if you're an electrical engineer, you got books. And Introductory Circuit Analysis. Now, that was one of my favorite courses. That's first. And look at this. It starts out, oh boy, you can tell it's an engineering book because it's expensive. This book was $11.50. And look at that. It's all full of equations and stuff. So I took the course and I got a decent grade. So I must have understood that. Well, okay, let's look for some more proof. Oh, here is a graduate level course I took on electromagnetic waves and radiating systems. Now, most electrical engineers don't like electromagnetics. It's just all weird stuff, you know? And this book's a lot more expensive. It's $21.95, but they don't like it because you got these Maxwell's equations. Well, you can derive everything from Maxwell equations, okay? You can go back, do Ohm's law and stuff, and see, I've got things highlighted here, so I must have understood it or thought it was slightly important. Sometimes it's kind of interesting than just the pieces of paper that are in there, but okay. So I took that course. That's good. Well, what else? What else here? Microwave theory and applications. That's actually a course Boeing sent me to when I was working for them as electrical engineer. That's one of the items of proof I worked as an electrical engineer. Oh, here is a graduate level course. Now look at this book, Nonlinear Automatic Control. I was thinking I was going to do control theory stuff, and actually that's what got me in trouble in the Air Force. They wanted to put me in a ground job. This book is $21. They wanted to put me in a ground job because I was getting a master's in electrical engineering. There's a control theory, control systems background to it, and they wanted to put me in charge of the F-16 flight control section out at Edwards, and I didn't want to do that. And so that's how I got an airline job. But there's my bookcase there, my bookcase of knowledge. Actually, I built those bookcases, and I'm gonna show some other proof of electrical engineering status here. I actually built these bookcases too. But you probably wonder, are you really a woodworker? And look at that, all the fingers. So man, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But here, okay, I'm reminding myself I'm a pilot. You know, you got to do this. Pilots do this all the time. And I've come back here to my hero wall. And yeah, that was the F-16 when it was firing Mavericks. I was chasing it. I took the camera guy in my backseat of the T-38 when I was doing that. There's when I flew out, got some flights out with NASA, and there's my biplane and my Wright Brothers Master Pilot Award and all sorts of hero shots here. This is when I was skydiving. See, I'm digressing here. Oh, this is when I did airline pilot. When you leave, everybody signs a picture, and they're happy to see you go. And I hauled the troops in and out of some places in the Gulf War. This one happened to be out of Kuwait. I actually flew into a base that doesn't exist. Rumsfeld actually declassified it the day I was taking off. And of course, any true pilot or engineer will have all sorts of mugs. This is Wichita Engineering Association. There's a mug from Boeing. When I worked for Cessna, when I was in the Air Force, stuff like that. All sorts of nice little things here. That was at a meeting. Bob Gilliland, Chief Test Pilot in the SR-71, signed that. But here's proof right here. Okay. They when I left, they gave me this plaque. It's got a B-52 on it, and it says, "Rest in peace, Ronald J. Rogers, Boeing SR Service." That's not senior, that's Strategic Radar Service. Choked on a chicken bone and died. Gone and soon forgotten. EMC and Antenna Systems. Now, you're probably going, that's a weird plaque. Did he actually choke on a chicken bone and died? Oh, here's proof I was an Air Force pilot. See, because I got this little certificate. But you're probably going, boy, that's weird. Did he really choke on a chicken bone and die? No, we had Jake, who was a summer student And he left at the end of the summer, and he went back to college. And we had this one secretary, and okay, she wasn't the brightest bulb in the group. And a couple weeks after Jake had gone back, she just said to our group, she goes, "Where's Jake?" And I and some of the other engineers looked at each other because, she was, he had left. And so I said, "You didn't know?" And she goes, "What?" I said, "He died." And she goes, "No." And I said, "Well, you know how we go out to lunch on Wednesdays?" Well, we were out to lunch, and we were eating chicken. He liked chicken. That's one of his favorite things. We're eating it, and he choked on a chicken bone, and he died. "Oh, no, he didn't." And I go, "Yes, he did." "No, he's not dead." And I said, "Well, I hope so. We buried him." So that got to be a little joke. I'm not sure if they ever told her or not, but here I am down in another place of ultimate knowledge. Now, I want you to see this. This is my 1955 Radio Amateur's Handbook. See right there, 1955. If you ever want to build a spark gap transmitter, that's the book you want here. Well, being a good engineer, there I was one for Boeing. Oh, all these lovely shadows and stuff. And that's my notebook. And, was I an engineer? Well, let's look at that. Oh, okay, I've got all sorts of writings in here. Okay, this kind of makes sense. These are test things I did, calculations, stuff like that. Okay, that makes sense. I think it's pointing to, I think I was an electrical engineer, and I think I worked at it, but it got a little more serious after a while, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But I've got to go up to another section and show you another area. It's getting dark, isn't it? All right, so here I am up in my office, which some people might call an attic. These are my bins of all sorts of aviation knowledge there. But let's go back in the office, and boy, absolute messy here. Oh, this is the pilot stuff. Well, that's not a pilot. That's a skydiver. But there's my Wright Brothers Award. That says I'm a pilot. And, okay, I'm working back here over to proof that I may be an electrical engineer. All right, here it is. This up on the wall. I think this is the best proof I've got right here. That's my University of Iowa diploma. See, I graduated on the 25th day of May, 1973. So, okay, yeah, that's a bit dated, but I do have this diploma. Now, I got an email from a company, and that says, if you have lost your diploma, and, I was thinking, man, I did misplace my high energy PhD physics degree from Harvard University, Harvard or Yale, I couldn't remember. But if I sent them a reasonable fee, they would send me a copy of that PhD certificate. So I thought, well, that could be cool. Well, I never did. I couldn't remember for sure if I did that. So I decided not to do that. But okay, let's get down to the meat and bones here. Okay, here's proof I may have been an electrical engineer. This is when I worked for Boeing here. That's EMC, Electromagnetic Compatibility Antenna Systems. That's my boss. They're the other lead engineers. There's me, Microwave Technology. Okay, that really is me. And those are the people that worked for me. So, okay, that's a good indication. And I kept some information. And let's take a look at this. Yeah, I wrote stuff down. This was experimental stuff I did, notes and stuff. There's some charts and graphs in here. And I go, okay, most of this kind of makes sense here. A lot of reference material I kept. I really don't know for what reason. But, okay, it's got a lot of good stuff in here. But then here's where I started to think, man, maybe this is all just an illusion. I found these. Now let's shed a little more light on this. I found these papers here. And okay, that's me. I wrote this. Okay, and what is this? RF injection modification for 180 degrees and 41 degrees. The present RF injection unit, I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. I don't know why I wrote this. There is, okay, that's a diagram. Okay, well, I thought maybe it's just one letter. Well, I remember this one because this was a big deal. I wrote this one on static differential phase equations. Man, I don't remember what this is. I mean, okay, when did I write this? I wrote this back in May of 1984. Okay, we're talking about 16 plus 24. That's 40 years ago. You ever do something like that as an electrical engineer? You wrote it 40 years ago and you're going, man, that is my handwriting, and these are nice equations. There's no integrals. I don't like integrals. Some people do. I don't. They're not in there, but it has to do with waveguides and all these equations and stuff. Yep, there's me again. I wrote it. My boss actually must have probably even possibly read it because he signed it. And there are some equations. I remember I had a meeting to discuss this paper. And it had something to do with the B-52 radar antenna. I remember that. And then electrical length measurement, a waveguide using the phase slope method. Okay, maybe there's some of you double E out there that are microwave engineers and you remember this. Man, I don't have a clue. So I got lab procedures, setting up test equipment. I go through this because this is being written to the guy of the antenna range where they do all this testing on antennas and systems, waveguides and stuff like that. So that's me. I wrote it there again. And there's the test setup. But gosh, I don't remember any of that. And so I'm starting to wonder, am I just forgetting everything? Or anybody out there who's been an electrical engineer for this length of time, go back and find things that they have no idea what they wrote? Just amazing. But there it was. I actually am on a chart that says, yep, you did work for them at one time. So, gosh, I don't know. I'm glad that I'm retired now and I don't have to go back and worry about making a living as an electrical or a microwave engineer because I don't think it would be that easy anymore. I'm glad I did okay as a pilot. I used a lot of engineering in that, but it's a different world. Anyway, that's my story. I hope you found it interesting, possibly entertaining, maybe enjoyable. Anyway, thanks for watching.